Ever wonder how the Indian tax law protects small businesses? Well, today we're going to unravel one such provision, Section 43B(h) of the Income Tax Act, 1961. This is a piece of legislation that, while seemingly complicated, plays a critical role in promoting a healthy business ecosystem. Now imagine you're a business owner, purchasing goods or services from a smaller company. Section 43B(h) comes into play here. It stipulates that you can only claim a deduction for those expenses on your income tax return if, and only if, you pay the smaller company on time. This on-time part is crucial, and it's determined by whether the supplier is classified as a micro or small enterprise under the MSME Act. So why does this matter? Well, micro and small enterprises, or MSEs, are the backbone of the Indian economy. However, they often face challenges like delayed payments from larger companies. This can disrupt their cash flow and hinder their growth. By incentivizing timely payments, Section 43B(h) aims to address this issue. If you pay an MSE late, you lose the tax deduction, essentially encouraging you to settle your dues promptly. Keep in mind, this applies only to payments made to registered micro and small enterprises. The payment deadlines are defined in the MSME Development Act: 45 days for written agreements, 15 days for unwritten ones. If you fail to pay on time, you lose the deduction until you actually make the payment. Therefore, it's crucial to verify the MSME registration of your suppliers to avoid any confusion. The implications of this section are both positive and negative. On one hand, it encourages timely payments to MSMEs, boosting their financial stability. On the other hand, businesses argue it puts an additional compliance burden on them. So, it's important to educate yourself and your team, verify supplier registration, track payment deadlines, and communicate clearly with your suppliers. Section 43B(h) might appear complex initially, but understanding its purpose and key points can help you ensure compliance and contribute to a healthier ecosystem for MSMEs. Let's delve deeper into the specifics of this section. Why should this section matter to you, you might ask? Well, Section 43B(h) is more than just another line in the Income Tax Act. It's a lifeline for micro and small enterprises, the unsung heroes of our economy. You see, these small businesses often struggle to stay afloat due to delayed payments from their larger counterparts, which can lead to cash flow problems and hinder their growth. By making the tax deduction on expenses contingent on timely payments, Section 43B(h) essentially incentivizes businesses to pay their dues on time. In doing so, it not only aids the financial stability of these smaller enterprises, but also fosters a culture of prompt payments within the business community. However, it's not all rosy. The introduction of this section also necessitates additional compliance from businesses. They now need to verify the MSME registration of their suppliers, track payment deadlines, and ensure payments are made within the stipulated time frame to claim their tax deductions. While this might seem like a burden, it's a small price to pay for the larger economic good. Moreover, it's crucial to remember that this section applies only to payments made to registered micro and small enterprises. The payment deadlines are defined in the MSME Development Act: 45 days for written agreements, 15 days for unwritten agreements. And if you don't adhere to these deadlines, you lose the tax deduction until you actually make the payment. On the surface, Section 43B(h) might seem like a minor detail in the larger scheme of tax laws, but its implications are far-reaching. By nudging businesses towards timely payments, it aims to create a healthier, more fair business ecosystem. So, the next time you're making a payment to a small supplier, remember Section 43B(h). Because in doing so, you're not just saving on taxes, you're also contributing to the economic health of our nation. Remember, it's all about timely payments. What are the major points under Section 43B(h) that you need to keep in mind? Let's delve into the specifics. Firstly, remember that this section applies only to payments made to registered micro and small enterprises. So, if you're dealing with a larger organization or an entity that isn't registered under the MSME Act, this section won't apply to your transactions. Secondly, the payment deadlines are explicitly defined in the MSME Development Act. If you have a written agreement with your supplier, you've got 45 days to make the payment. However, if the agreement is unwritten, the window shrinks to just 15 days. If you fail to meet these deadlines, Section 43B(h) comes into play, and you lose the tax deduction until you actually make the payment. The third point to consider is the importance of verifying the MSME registration of your suppliers. This can help you avoid any confusion later and ensure that you're fully compliant with the law. It's also essential to note that this section applies to manufacturers and service providers under the MSME Act. In simple terms, if your supplier is a trader, your purchases won't come under the purview of Section 43B(h). Now, this section only applies to purchases or services received after the 1st of April 2023 and to earlier bills recorded. Let's break down the practical effects. If you make purchases within the financial year 2023 to 2024, and you make the payment before the 31st of March 2024, it will be allowed as deductions for the financial year 2023 to 2024. However, if any purchases or expenses are outstanding on the 31st of March 2024 but paid before the due date as mentioned in the MSME Act, then it will also be allowed as a deduction in the financial year 2023 to 2024. But if the payment isn't made before the due date, such purchases or expenses won't be allowed as a deduction under Section 43B(h) for the financial year 2023 to 2024. Instead, they will be allowed as expenses in the year in which they are actually paid. This amendment has both positive and negative implications. On the one hand, it encourages timely payments to MSMEs, enhancing their financial stability. On the other, some businesses believe it puts an additional compliance burden on them. The best course of action is to educate yourself and your team, verify supplier registration, track payment deadlines, and communicate clearly with your suppliers. Make sure you're aware of these points to ensure compliance. So, how does Section 43B(h) practically affect businesses, you might ask? Well, let's look at real-world implications of this provision. Let's say in the financial year 2023 to 24, you've made purchases from a registered MSE. If you make the payment before the 31st of March 2024, the expense can be claimed as a deduction in that financial year. It's a straightforward transaction, right? Now, let's turn the tables a bit. Imagine you have outstanding payments as of the 31st of March 2024. But you still make the payment within the due date as per the MSME Act. This means within 45 days for written agreements or 15 days for unwritten ones. Even in this case, the expense can be claimed as a deduction in the financial year 2023 to 24. However, if the payment is made after the due date, the plot thickens. Such purchases or expenses will not be allowed as deductions under Section 43B(h) for the financial year 2023 to 24. Instead, they will be allowed as expenses in the year they've been paid. So, essentially, the timing of your payment decides when you can claim the expense as a deduction. Pay on time and you can enjoy the deduction in the same financial year. Pay late and you'll have to wait until the next financial year to claim it. This seemingly small detail can have significant implications for your business's cash flow and tax planning. It's not just about compliance with the law, but also about smart financial management. And remember, this rule applies only to purchases or services received after the 1st of April 2023. For any earlier bills recorded, the usual rules of deduction apply. Understanding these effects can help you better navigate your business operations. So keep your payment deadlines in check, stay informed, and you'll be well on your way to mastering the practicalities of Section 43B(h). What's the ripple effect of this section on the wider business ecosystem, you may wonder? Well, like most legal provisions, Section 43B(h) has its positives and negatives. On the sunny side of the street, the provision is a lifeline for micro and small enterprises, MSEs. By encouraging timely payments, it helps to alleviate cash flow problems often faced by these businesses, boosting their financial stability and their potential for growth. It's a move that fosters a healthier, more supportive business ecosystem, empowering the smaller players that form the backbone of the Indian economy. However, every silver lining has a cloud. Some businesses argue that Section 43B(h) places an additional compliance burden on them. They now need to ensure not only that payments are made within the deadlines, but also that their suppliers are registered under the MSME Act. This means additional paperwork, extra vigilance on payment deadlines, and possibly even changes to their payment systems. For businesses that work with multiple MSEs, this could mean a significant increase in administrative tasks. It's a balance between supporting small businesses and managing compliance, but as with any change, it's a matter of adaptation. So, what can businesses do to navigate these new waters? First off, education is key. Understanding the rules and ensuring everyone on the team is aware of their responsibilities is vital. This includes verifying the MSME registration of suppliers and keeping records of their registration certificates. Tracking payment deadlines is another crucial step. Setting up reminders and systems to ensure timely payments can help avoid losing out on tax deductions. And of course, clear communication with suppliers about payment terms can prevent misunderstandings and foster stronger business relationships. In the grand scheme of things, Section 43B(h) is about more than just tax deductions. It's about fostering a robust business environment where all players, big and small, can thrive. After all, a rising tide lifts all boats. It's a balance between supporting small businesses and managing compliance. Remember this as you navigate the world of Section 43B(h). It's not just a tax provision, it's a step towards a more equitable business landscape. How can your business smoothly navigate the requirements of Section 43B(h)? Well, it's all about planning and communication. Let's break it down into practical steps and strategies that you can implement. Firstly, educate yourself and your team about the rules. Understanding the ins and outs of Section 43B(h) is crucial. Ensure everyone involved in the procurement and payment processes is aware of their responsibilities. You might consider conducting training sessions or workshops to spread this knowledge. Secondly, always verify the MSME registration of your suppliers. When you're dealing with a new supplier, ask for their MSME registration certificate. Keep records of these certificates for future reference. This will help you avoid any confusion or disputes down the line. Thirdly, it's essential to track your payment deadlines. Set up a system that sends out reminders when a payment is due. This could be a digital calendar, a project management tool, or even a simple spreadsheet. The key is to ensure that you never miss a payment deadline. Next, communicate clearly with your suppliers. Discuss the payment terms up front to avoid misunderstandings. Make sure both parties are on the same page about when and how payments will be made. This open communication will help build trust and foster a healthy business relationship. And finally, don't forget to factor in the tax implications of Section 43B(h) into your financial planning. If you pay an MSE late and lose the tax deduction, it could have a significant impact on your bottom line. So, it's worth taking the time to plan your cash flow and budget accordingly. Remember, navigating Section 43B(h) is not just about compliance, it's also about supporting the growth and development of micro and small enterprises. By ensuring timely payments, you're contributing to a healthier business ecosystem and building strong relationships with your suppliers. With careful planning and communication, you can make Section 43B(h) work for you. So, what's the big takeaway from Section 43B(h)? Well, it's all about understanding the importance of timely payments and their implications on your tax deductions. As we've discussed, this clause under the Income Tax Act 1961 is a game changer for businesses dealing with micro and small enterprises in India. It's a mechanism designed to protect these smaller entities, the backbone of the Indian economy, from payment delays that can hamper their growth and financial stability. Under Section 43B(h), you can claim deductions for expenses incurred from purchasing goods or services, but only if you make your payments to these smaller businesses on time. This rule applies only to registered micro and small enterprises, and the timelines for payments are dictated by the MSME Development Act. So, if you're a business owner, it's crucial to keep track of these deadlines. Remember, if you're late with your payment, you lose the tax deduction until the payment is made. That's a significant incentive to settle your dues promptly. But this isn't just about compliance or tax benefits, it's about fostering a healthier business ecosystem. By ensuring timely payments, you're helping to bolster the financial stability of these smaller enterprises. You're contributing to a more robust economy and, in the process, building stronger business relationships. You can navigate this clause effectively by educating your team about the rules, verifying your supplier's MSME registration, tracking payment deadlines, and communicating clearly about payment terms. In a nutshell, Section 43B(h) might seem complex, but once you understand its purpose and key points, it becomes a valuable tool for ensuring compliance and contributing to the overall health of the MSME sector. Remember, understanding Section 43B(h) can not only ensure compliance but also contribute to a healthier business ecosystem.